Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah ma ba'd. We've just answered the question on whether we should be following the ijtihad of our parents. Now, are we, or is the woman, commanded to follow the ijtihad of her husband? Now, this goes back to a mas'ala, which is the command where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the man the maintainers of women, and you can find the tafsir of this. The majority of the ulama have interpreted this to say that the man is obligated to maintain, and that then means that the woman must be, obedient and must comply with whatever the husband wants, for them to have in their lifestyle and how the house should be run. Okay, this is the view of the majority of ulama. Now, this is such a broad area. I'm just going to talk about the topic at hand, which is he's got an Islamic view, she's got an Islamic view. Does she have to make all of her Islamic views in line with his? Now, the summary of this really, and the practicality of it as well, is it's not possible for us to have one set principle for every single area of ijtihad and difference of opinion. In certain areas we will say, no, I think it's better for you to follow him. And in certain areas, or most areas, or the asl really, we should say, is that there is no taqleed. There is no taqleed. Therefore, some of the ulama, what they have said is that in its asl, the man is the person who is an authority and the woman should obey. Others from the ulama, and this is from the Hanafis and some of the Malikis, etc., is that no, areas of obedience and complying, etc., are those which are connected to the nikah, not to religious issues, not to anything which is connected to the running of the household and the marriage. But when it comes to interpretation of religion, she doesn't have to make us, conform with his. But the best way I've seen this put is where the ulama have said, look, if the man is a person of ijtihad and he knows what he is talking about and he explains something to his wife and she is not a person of ijtihad, then she should follow him, because she's asked a person who knows, and she should listen to him, especially with him being the husband. If she's got her own view and she is a person who has studied and she understands what her stance is, then she needs to follow her stance, because she's going to be questioned on the Day of Judgment. What answer did you give to the prophets? Not to the husbands, not to anyone else. Meaning the text and the Quran, the Sunnah, religion came to you, what response did you give to that? So if she knows that this is the correct view, his view is something which is different, but it's flexible, it's tolerant, is those areas in ijtihad where there is lenience and respect for one another's opinions, then she should follow her opinions and he should follow his. But then there's a third scenario, which is he's got an opinion and he wants her to follow his opinion. Then in that scenario, and her opinion might be different, and in that scenario, and again, we need to inspect every single situation separately, but in that scenario she needs to then review what is it that's going to be better for the marriage and for the household, etc. And of course, all of this has to be done with discussions, all of this has to be done with sabr and wisdom, all of this has to be done with ilm and kitab and sunnah, and not based on desires, etc. But also there is a very important principle in this as well, which helps us understand this very last point, which is the ulama have said that when it comes to issues of ijtihad, there can't be any inkar. La inkar fi masail ijtihad. Meaning, if you've got a legitimate opinion and I've got a legitimate opinion, you can't go around and say, well, he's wrong. Why is he following it like that? Why is he understanding it like that? And if that's when it comes to just Muslims in general, then how about in the household? So it's very important that what we have said here can't be interpreted to make it as if that there's going to be problems in the household, etc. The purpose of the religion is to bring unity and comfort, ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub, and not that it creates conflict and difficulty. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us of those who hear and follow in the best way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fills our homes with iman and ilm. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على محمد.